In May 2023, my order for the Congress Bedford G Fuel Collector's Box had finally arrived after ordering it around the end of the previous year. And I didn't buy it for the G Fuel, I just wanted the Mighty Pooh's U2s it came with since I was basically collecting everything Congress related that they were releasing. But now I had a 40 serving tub of energy drink powder that I didn't want to go to waste, even though I wasn't even drinking energy drinks at the time. So the next day, I decided that the first energy drink I was ever going to have was going to be a tropical corn soda flavor. And ever since that day, I've been drinking energy drinks routinely that ranges from one a day to one a week. And it's been at the one a day recently. About a month after getting my first G Fuel tub, I was on a Discord call with one of my friends and he had told me about another powdered energy drink brand, GamerSupps. He seemed to have liked that company more because he could actually drink their product because he has heart problems or something and they have caffeine-free options. So during that call, he orders a tub of Shy Lily's flavor Blowhole Blast, and the next time I see him, I give it a try. And in that moment, sitting in that chair in his kitchen, I realized I had probably made a mistake on which gamer powder I should have direct access to. But I still miss my tropical corn soda at times, I'm not gonna lie. He also gave me 2 of the free sample packs that he also ordered, and they were Mango Meta and Sour Apple, which convinced me to get the free sample packs that they offered. I didn't order my first tub of GamerSupps until the group released their flavor, because I found it funny and a sell for buy a tub get a cup was going on. I actually got the caffeine free one because the option was available and I had 4 tubs of G Fuel at the time. And from there on out, I've been buying a tub of GamerSupps caffeine free nearly every time I've been able to get a free cup with it. I mostly drink it as a water enhancer because it helps me limit my caffeine intake. I once thought to myself I could still get some nootropics from this formula, but by my third tub, I realized something was wrong, that there was an issue with the nootropic blend. And I honestly didn't care and just kept buying because I wanted to flavor my water and get some free cups. After finishing 8 tubs and making videos for 2 years, I decided that I wanted to make a video up talking about GamerSupps. We're going to be fixing the obvious issue that GamerSupps formula has. But before we do that, let's look at every individual ingredient in this nootropic proprietary blend so we have a better understanding of what GamerSupps is trying to deliver. We're not looking at every vitamin since a single scoop is rich in all of them, but vitamin D. That one falls in the good source category. We'll mainly be looking at the energy formula since caffeine free is the same formula with 3 things removed ingredients wise, and the premium energy cans only have 2 active ingredients that it shares with the energy powder. We're not looking at the AFK formula for obvious reasons and because only one thing really needs to be changed. And we've already spent way too long on this intro, so let's just go into the ingredients list and break down what they do, how they do it, and the correct dosages for an effect. The first group of ingredients are part of the energy, focus, and nootropic parts of the formula, with the first ingredient listed being caffeine. This seems to be the only ingredient with a description about where it originates from instead of what it's intended to do. And it's because most know what caffeine does. It gives us an energized and awake feeling by preventing us from feeling tired. This is done by caffeine blocking adenosine receptors and increasing our heart rate. Adenosine is a neurotransmitter that's responsible for relaxing us, and a neurotransmitter is a quick, short-lived message source in our brain. And just so I don't have to say it later, hormones are also a message source. It's just that they're much slower and have longer lasting effects. And for those curious, because caffeine is blocking the receiving end, adenosine can still be made and build up outside the receptor, so once caffeine is gone, all of it comes rushing in, which gives us this tired, groggy feeling we know as the crash. When it comes to an effective dosage, it's going to vary from person to person, and that could be said for most of the ingredients we're going to be looking at, but we'll be going off what an amateur is able to find on the internet, so 200 milligrams. Next up is L-theanine, which GamerSupps' website states is to help prevent the crash or jitters and reduce anxiety. It's been shown to help increase focus and relax you by blocking glutamate receptors, which allows GABA to bind to its own receptors, which increases the level of dopamine and serotonin. To simply explain what's going on, glutamate excites you while GABA relaxes you, and with GABA being the only of the two active, only the happy chemicals can be released. Dopamine is there to help fight anxiety, serotonin is there to help with relaxation, and they're both there to help with focus. The relaxing effect helps combat and smooth out some of the bad energy aspects of caffeine by decreasing your heart rate and blood pressure so it's more balanced out, which gives us an energy effect that keeps us awake and alert, but also relaxed and focused. Alone, L-theanine could be effective with just 200 milligrams, but when stacked with caffeine, you'd want a 2-to-1 ratio since studies show that these give the best results when stacked together, which means we might want 400 milligrams present in the energy formula. L-tyrosine is stated to be there for mental cognition and to help with production of several key neurotransmitters. This is a pretty vague description from GamerSupps. What it specifically does is help with mental clarity during stressful and distractible situations by increasing the level of catecholamines. These are neurotransmitters and hormones that are typically released during stressful situations. You could be relaxed and still get the benefits, but it seems it won't be as effective. The 2 key catecholamines we end up with are dopamine and norepinephrine. Norepinephrine is a neurotransmitter or hormone that comes into play during the fight or flight response, more specifically with the increase in attention and alertness and contraction of your blood vessels. And to simply explain how we get from L-tyrosine to these 2 catecholamines, L-tyrosine becomes L-dopa, which converts to dopamine, and some of the dopamine converts to norepinephrine. An effective dosage ranges from 500 to 2,000 milligrams, with 1,000 being pretty common to see. But since GamerSupps is known for only needing a little powder, we'll be going for as little as we can, but still get an effect, so we'll be going with 500 milligrams. Phosphatidylserine is mentioned to be, quote, taken to try to prevent memory loss and mental decline that may occur as you get older, end quote. The website also mentions that it could help boost brain power, which could possibly be motivation, focus, and lower stress if what I've read is correct. With the previous and upcoming ingredients, I've been pushing on my glasses and putting up a finger. But the detailed explanation I found for this one is obviously written by someone who knows what they're talking about, so I'm going to go with the simpler one that I found. It's part of the neuron's membrane and helps support communication between the cells by helping maintain fluidity, being a part of synthetic vessels that transfer neurotransmitters. It may help with the reuptake process of neurotransmitters, which basically means putting them back into the neuron they came from. We naturally produce phospholipid in our bodies, but production decreases as we get older, and even when we're young, it doesn't seem that we're able to make enough of it. So we make up for it from the food we eat and, of course, supplements. The dosage we're looking at is 200 milligrams, not just so we could possibly get memory support, but we may get a boost in brain power that was briefly mentioned. Now we reach the eye health section of the formula, with the first being lutein. It's mentioned how it's, quote, an important component of the protection and health of your eyes, end quote, and is great for combating blue light. Lutein is one of the two carotenoids that is mostly found in the eye, specifically in the macula, which is responsible for sharp central vision. Lutein seems to be absorbing excess light that enters our eye, and with it being a yellow pigment, it does a great job at absorbing blue light. And that's all I can really find about how it works, so let's move over to dosing. But before we do that, there's something important to mention about the dosages going forward. We're still going for as little as possible with an effect, but the results aren't going to be as instant as the first three ingredients. The numbers are going to be dosages you'll supplement with daily for weeks or even years on end. And some articles I read mentioned that you should only be supplementing during that time period. For the audio version of this video, I'm probably not going to mention how long you should be taking it for because I'm too lazy to look it up as I'm writing this and as I'm reading this. So I might put something on the screen for the time date. So with that being said, 10 milligrams of lutein is going to be an effective dosage. Despite it being under eye health, all that's mentioned about astaxanthin is the fact that it protects your cells from free radicals and oxidative stress, which makes it seem like it should be in our next section of ingredients. For those of you who focused during chemistry class, you'll know that atoms are surrounded by electrons and layers. Electrons like to be in pairs, and when one of the outer shells isn't, whether it's because it's lost or gained an electron, we could end up with a free radical. Free radicals are unstable and want to form a pair for their single electron, so they'll steal from another atom, ion, or molecule. Antioxidants have extra electrons and can even have an uneven numbers on its outer shell. What separates it from free radicals is that antioxidants want to give away their extra electron. It's important to know that different antioxidants combat different free radicals, so each would give different health benefits and combat different issues. Astaxanthin seems to aid in eye and heart health and help improve your skin quality. And just so it doesn't go unrecognized, oxidative stress is when there is too many free radicals and too little antioxidants. So supplementing with antioxidants helps even out the fight. It seems that an effective dose of astaxanthin is 6 milligrams. Despite all I just said, you may have noticed that I didn't say that astaxanthin is the second carotenoid mostly found in the eye. The one which is missing though is zeaxanthin. I saw these two constantly mentioned together when researching lutein, so it would be the only ingredient we add to improve the energy formula. It seems to work similar to lutein, but it works to help protect from harmful effects of sunlight and helps fight against free radicals that could be found in the eye. Zeaxanthin has a much smaller dosage at just 2 milligrams. Now we reach the final group in the Nootropics proprietary blend, which is the antioxidants and minerals. First up in this group is coenzyme Q10, which is stated to be beneficial towards your heart health, blood pressure, and cardiovascular system as a whole. Coenzyme Q10 is naturally produced in the body and mostly found in the heart, liver, kidney, and pancreas, and if anything the body produces is going to decrease as we get older. Since it's an antioxidant, it's going to combat free radicals in the region it's found, and with it being in our heart, it could also be found in our bloodstream, which is how it helps with blood pressure, specifically by lowering the bad LDL cholesterol, which helps prevent plaque buildup, but doesn't seem to help with the plaque that's already present. I want to assume that our hearts are healthy, so we'd only need 100 milligrams of coenzyme Q10. Just to quickly mention, these last few ingredients are extracts, which means they're a source of antioxidants and minerals instead of being just one of the two. So the explanations are going to be a lot less detailed now, since I'm just going to mention what they're mainly used for and some other possible effects. Also, for some of these extracts, it's hard to find an effective dosage, so I just looked at already existing supplements and went off those numbers. According to GamerSupps' breakdown of the ingredients, acai berry extract is loaded with antioxidants and could decrease LDL cholesterol, could boost brain function, and quote, may have possible anti-cancer effects, end quote. But that last statement hasn't been evaluated. Other than those statements, I also found that it can help with cardiovascular health by improving circulation, lower risk of heart attacks, end quote, may help as vasodilator in treatments of cardiovascular disease, end quote, which basically means widening blood vessels. The supplements I looked at were 4-in-1 extract capsules that had numbers between 500 and 600 milligrams when alone, but 300 milligrams when blended with other extracts. So let's find a balance and say 400 milligrams. The description under mangosteen is pretty simple. There's mention it helps fight free radicals and cancer-causing agents. It fights against allergen while also helping with digestion, helps prevent acne, and has anti-inflammatory agents. Most of what I read echoed the same thing, but I found a slight explanation that it's given these benefits because the extract is rich in fiber, which helps with digestion, and it contains axons, which helps with the anti-cancer and anti-inflammatory agents. The capsules I looked at were between 475 and 500 milligrams, so we're going to go with 500 milligrams so the numbers are nice and balanced. If the format for goji berry extract's description has anything to indicate about its benefits, we could probably assume its main benefits are for our eyes and skin. There's also mentions of controlling blood sugar levels by helping recover cells to help produce insulin, and of course the usual cardiovascular health and help you live longer. Interestingly, the source they linked only talks about eye health and immunity support, which wasn't mentioned in the description. But the benefits mentioned in the description do tie into one another by just supporting insulin production, which helps lower blood pressure, which leads to better cardiovascular health. I did find some stuff about skin support, mostly protecting you from harmful UV rays and keeping your skin elastic to avoid getting wrinkles. The supplements I looked at mentioned 300 milligrams, and an article said 500 milligrams, so similar to before. We'd meet in the middle and say a 400 milligram dosage. The final ingredient we'll be looking at is none other than ginseng root extract. The benefits GamerSupps highlights are, quote, cognitive enhancements, anti-inflammatory benefits, lowering of blood sugar levels to healthy ranges, and flu prevention, end quote. The specific kind of ginseng they seem to be using is Panax ginseng, most commonly known as Asian ginseng. As most know, ginseng was and is still used in traditional medicines, whether it be the quinquefolius species found natively in America or the ginseng specifically found within Asia. They both provide similar medical benefits, but the biggest difference seems to be that Asian ginseng has stimulating effects that give you a boost of energy, which seems to be due to there being more ginsenocytes, but it seems that an effective dosage for either of the two seems to be 200 milligrams. Now we've reached the most important part of the video, discussing the issue with the formula. And if it isn't obvious, it's because these ingredients aren't correctly dosed. The energy formula claims to have 154,000 micrograms for a single scoop of the proprietary blend, but that translates to just 154 milligrams. And with 100 of those being caffeine, we're left with just 54 milligrams for every ingredient under it, which is even less than the caffeine-free formula with 69 milligrams for the proprietary blend, which doesn't even include the eye health ingredients. But who's really only using a single scoop of the energy formula? Most people are going to either use 2 or maybe even 3. But this leaves us with just a spare of 108 or 162 milligrams, which is only enough to correctly dose coenzyme Q10 and astaxanthin. We could also include lutein if we're going for 3 scoops. Caffeine-free also doesn't have enough space with just 138 and 207 milligrams for 2 and 3 scoops. But now we could correctly dose the previous ingredients mentioned in just 2 scoops, or just correctly dose astaxanthin and phospholidiscerine or ginseng root extract with just 3 scoops. But what if the truth was that everything I just told you about being able to correctly dose 3 ingredients was incorrect? That in reality, we cannot correctly dose coenzyme Q10, and it all has to do with the order the ingredients are listed in. For those of you who don't know, on both ingredients lists and proprietary blends, ingredients must be listed from most to least by weight. So with this knowledge and what we know about correct dosages, we can see that everything is basically out of order. But more importantly, if we want to correctly dose our eye health ingredients, everything under astaxanthin will have to be at or under 6 milligrams, and everything between caffeine and lutein will need to be at the range of 10 milligrams and 200 or 300 milligrams, depending on how many scoops we use. And with a weight limit of 108, 162 milligrams for everything under caffeine, we cannot correctly dose anything if we want our eyes to be healthy. And we cannot correctly dose coenzyme Q10 because everything above it would need to be at least 100 milligrams, which we simply don't have enough room for. The caffeine-free formula runs into this exact same issue since its order is the same as the energy one, just minus the caffeine and eye health ingredients. Let's be nice and give a bit more wiggle room since the ingredients are listed in a way that could be separated into 3 groups, similar to how they are on the website. Now let's also move the eye health ingredients group under the antioxidants and minerals group, just so it's correctly listed by weight. We're basically doing this so every group could have its own ranges and limits. Even if we were to be given a bigger weight limit but kept the order the ingredients were listed in the same, we run into the issue of an upper limit because coenzyme Q10 will be 100 milligrams and caffeine will be 200 milligrams, which means we can't correctly dose 6 ingredients in the energy formula and 5 ingredients in the caffeine-free formula. Let's say we rearranged everything to be correctly listed by weight, but kept the weight limits, so after putting in enough scoops, everything is correctly dosed. How much of each ingredient will be present in a single scoop, and how many scoops will we need to get an effective dosage? It's okay, I'm not giving you math homework. I've already done it for you. L-tyrosine and mangosteen extract will each need to be 26.375 milligrams. L-theanine, acai berry extract, and goji berry extract will each need to be 21.1 milligrams. Caffeine, phospholidiscerine, and ginseng root extract will each need to be 10.55 milligrams. Coenzyme Q10 will need to be 5.275 milligrams. Lutein will need to be 0.5725 milligrams. And astaxanthin will need to be 0.3165 milligrams. Here's what they'll look like if they're in micrograms, since that's how they're listed on the tub. This doesn't add up to exactly 154 milligrams, but it was the closest I could get to without the numbers looking ugly. Let's do the same thing with the caffeine-free formula real quick. Anything that needs to be 500 milligrams is now 13.8. Anything that needs to be 400 milligrams is now 11.04 milligrams. Anything that needs to be 200 milligrams is now 5.52 milligrams. And coenzyme Q10 is now 2.76 milligrams. The reason these numbers look a little uglier than the previous ones is because they add up to exactly 69 milligrams. So with this modified energy formula, we really need a total of 19 scoops for everything to reach an effective dosage. That's 30.4 grams of powder being translated to 152 ounces of liquid. That is 9.5 16-ounce servings. That is 6 1/3 24-ounce servings. And with the caffeine-free formula, we need 36 1/4 scoops, which means we need to drink nearly double the amount of liquid if we want a correct dosage. Surprisingly, the total powder only increases by 16.725 grams. To put into perspective of how much liquid that is, according to Harvard Health, men should have 15.5 cups or 124 ounces of water a day, and women should have 11.5 cups or 92 ounces. You'd be drinking over 22.5% of the water you need in a day for the caffeinated version, and nearly over 133.9% for the non-caffeinated version, just to feel an effect. With us needing to use so many servings for these modified formulas, it means we're not going to get much use from these 100 serving tubs. The tubs for the energy formula will get 5 full uses before you get too little powder to get an effect, and the caffeine-free tub will only have 2 uses. But at least you have a remaining 27.5 scoops as compared to the energy's 5. And to quickly get it out of the way, the cans. 169 milligrams of caffeine and 69 milligrams of L-theanine, which is 238 milligrams of space. You know that 400 milligrams of L-theanine and 200 milligrams of caffeine are needed to get an effect, so let's just rearrange and change the amount of the ingredients, which gives us 159 milligrams of L-theanine and 79 milligrams of caffeine, which is about the same amount as an 8-ounce Red Bull. We need a little over 2.5 of these modified cans to get an effect, which is just 36 ounces of liquid, a lot less than what we previously discussed. But I like GamerSupps, so let's just say we updated the formula to now be correctly dosed with just 2 scoops and kept the 100 serving tubs. The third scoop to fill up your waifu cup is just there to if you want a little extra. We're also adding zeaxanthin to the updated formula so we could get some more eye health benefits. So a single scoop of GamerSupps updated energy formula now contains L-tyrosine and mangosteen extract with each at 250 milligrams, L-theanine, acai berry extract, and goji berry extract with each at 200 milligrams, caffeine, phospholidiscerine, and ginseng root extract with each at 100 milligrams, 50 milligrams of coenzyme Q10, 5 milligrams of lutein, 3 milligrams of astaxanthin, and a milligram of zeaxanthin. The caffeine-free formula is the same thing, just minus the eye health ingredients and obviously caffeine. The proprietary blend for the energy formula now weighs in at 1.45 grams, and the caffeine-free is weighing in at 1.25 grams. That's a bit under a 9.5 times increase for the energy formula, and a bit over a 18 times increase for the caffeine-free. With the proprietary blend being able to nearly fill up or overfill a caffeine-free scoop, it means we probably need to increase the number of ingredients that is listed under other ingredients. For the original formulas, the other ingredients make up 1.34 grams for the energy and 1.13 grams for the caffeine-free. Luckily for us, we won't need to increase by multiples of 9 or 18, but rather have them take up 2.5 grams of weight. This may not seem like much of an increase, but remember, we're putting in 2 scoops to get our desired result. As if we look at other gamer powder energy drinks, we see similarities with the amount in proprietary blend versus total weight. So a singular scoop now weighs 3.959 grams for energy and 3.75 grams for caffeine-free, which means the tubs are now going to weigh in at 395.9 and 375 grams, a 2.47 and 2.88 times increase. So our tubs and scoops are obviously going to need a size increase as well. I've only ever had the caffeine-free tubs, so I want to assume the caffeinated ones are also a bit halfway filled when first opened. So our tubs are going to have a 40% increase in size. Both their diameters are going to go from 2.81 inches to 3.94 inches. The height for the caffeine-free tub is going from 3.19 inches to 4.46 inches. And the height for the energy tub is going from 3.94 inches to 5.34 inches. And for those curious, the energy scoop will increase in size by 35.25%, while the caffeine-free scoop would increase by 42.35%. The reason for the different size increases this time is because the new serving sizes are a lot closer as compared to the old ones. So now we have our upgraded GamerSupps, a formula that now delivers on what the FAQ section of the website claims. It delivers on effectiveness with correct dosages and use of nootropics, and it delivers on health through its antioxidants and eye health ingredients. The second half about health is pretty important for them to deliver on because it seems to be one of the aspects they sort of advertise about. The FAQ section on why you should drink GamerSupps, health is one of the 4 main points, and within it, 4 of the 6 bullet points mention something that could be tied back to health. The caffeine-free formula has drinking more water as a main point, which mentions being able to get some vitamins. Scrolling to the bottom of the website lets you know that their mission is to have a product that meets an in-between of gamer health, content creation, and gaming culture. And their name, GamerSupps. Gamer supplements. A supplement is typically taken to help fill in for something that might be missing or not yet complete, which they're trying to do with their vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. But we gotta remember that at the end of the day, they're still an energy drink company. They're just trying to be a healthier alternative, as illustrated with all these points I've brought up. Like I said, this updated formula does deliver on all of that, but let's quickly look at the original one. When compared to your Red Bulls, Rockstars, and Monsters, the original formula is a healthier alternative, but only because of its low calorie count, 0 sugar, and being rich in all but one vitamin. Which brings me to a small discussion point I want to end things off on. Could we see a change to this launch actually happen? Well, no. The point I made earlier about sort of advertising as healthier on their website is true, but it isn't front and center, much more off to the far end at the bottom of the website and under their YGG section. Typically, when a content creator doesn't ad spot for GamerSupps in a video, they typically mention how it gives you energy.
To get the energy you need for a marathon game theory session.
To get the energy that you need to marathon watch something like, say, Style Theory.
To get the energy you need to marathon watch Food Theory.
Is keto friendly?
Hunter, you're not my son.
And it's keto friendly, Mom!
0 sugar?
Sugar-free! And no sugar!
And it has vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants.
GamerSupps GG energy drinks have vitamins, minerals, antioxidants.
They sometimes even mention focus, and the tubs themselves say something similar. Nootropics, antioxidants, less than a calorie, and sugar-free. They aren't advertising the benefits the ingredients could give you. They're just advertising that they have these ingredients present. The only benefits they might mention is energy and focus, because that's something caffeine could naturally give you. When they advertise caffeine-free and can't mention energy, they might say something like nice tasting water with vitamins and minerals.
I've actually been drinking GamerSupps raw meat blend that's non-caffeinated. While they do have a caffeinated option, both are equally delicious, so...
Even if you just like drinking water with some funny taste, it's delicious. And you can keep drinking it and just get a bunch of vitamins and minerals in you.
So they aren't doing anything wrong or misadvertising within these creator-sponsored ads, which is probably going to be seen first before they end up on their website, which is where I found all these health claims they make. But even on the website, they're just saying similar stuff they'd have the creators repeat. I originally exaggerated in hopes of keeping your attention. There is a bullet point that mentions nootropics for, quote, sharpen focus and increase reaction time, end quote, only seems to be mentioned here, and you need to go out of your way to find it. The part of the website I use most for this video is the page where they break down the ingredients that could be found in the proprietary blend, but they seem to look at the ingredients on an individual level, and they even mentioned that the L-theanine to caffeine ratio at 2.25 to 1 being a golden standard in clinical trials, something that they don't have in their formula. Yes, on the same page they say, quote, GG is the ultimate energy focus formula, end quote, but that's obviously an exaggeration instead of a statement. And like the health statements, this is something we have to go out of our way to look for. A second point on why I don't see this change occurring anytime soon is because the supplement side of things is probably at most like 65% of the brand. GamerSupps is an energy drink company at the end of the day, but that 35 remaining percent will be merch and collaboration with creators. Even though on the Fridays you get a text message, it feels the other way around. But it makes sense on why they do that. It's to fill in the gaps between flavor drops. They can't constantly be releasing flavors because it's not that great of a business practice for a product that lasts you a month or two. Why spend $40 more if you already had this new tub for 2 weeks and you still have a month and a half to go before you finish it? So they release merch, typically in limited drops that include cups, clothing, and some other accessories that can range from the simple mouse pad, keychain, or pin to the more interesting spatula, chopsticks, and toilet paper. If the drop is an original from GamerSupps, there's a limited quantity, but if it's in a collaboration with a creator, then it's available to purchase for a limited amount of time. And people buy this merch up. There are times when GamerSupps will tweet something along the lines of, show us your collection, and you see people with a portion, if not the whole room, dedicated to their merch, which shows that this practice works, so they keep giving their fans what they want. Plus, the merch is actually pretty cool. Sometimes their buy a tub, get a cup, or Christmas in July sale feels like a bribe to get people to buy more tubs. And to quickly talk about the second part of the point, collaboration with content creators. GamerSupps sponsors a lot of people, but not everybody could get a flavor, especially not straight off the bat unless you're popular enough. So they give people the second most important thing about having powdered energy drinks, the cup they drink it out of. The more people that use a creator's code might add even more products alongside the cup. They might even get a whole drop, which also fills in the gap between GamerSupps' own original merch drops and helps bring in more income by either helping secure a customer since maybe a creator releases a cup and the viewer wants to support them, or an already existing customer sees their favorite creator drop a new set of merch, so maybe they buy an item or two or maybe even the whole drop if they like them enough and have the money to afford it. Basically, to summarize this last part, the reason I don't see this change happening is because GamerSupps does not misadvertise and their merchandise sells incredibly well. And I honestly do get it. Maybe if I was employed at the time, I would have bought a really specific jacket. But all in all, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more inconsistent topics and upload dates. And that's about it. Okay, bye now.